Hey guys, we're back on another episode with Elevate Car Rentals. Today we have CEO Mo. He's from Detroit and he has over 250 cars. I learned a lot from him actually, so I definitely want to talk about some things on this podcast today.
Sure, man. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So let's get into it. You basically do private rentals. You don't do anything on Turo. And remind me, have you ever had your cars on Turo?
I actually did when I first started in the business back in 2021.
Okay.
I was on Turo for, I'd say the first 7 months in the business. Yep, I was on Turo. But I had at the time I had some finance vehicles and a couple of cash cars.
Okay.
So the finance vehicles, it worked pretty well being on Turo.
So when you were on Turo for the 7 months, did you say, did you already have the idea of this private rental or did you learn it as you were going?
Absolutely. So like I got into the business to do, you know what I mean? But of course, in the beginning, that was at the time when Turo was really the hot topic. So it was like, that was the thing to do. You get cars, you put on Turo. So I put on Turo, and then the cars were doing well. Then I had a good buddy of mine that lives in Chicago. He had a BMW i8, right? So that's what really introduced me to the private rental, because he gave me the car and was like, hey, bro, let's do this. I see you going crazy in Detroit. I'm about to give you a car. Let's just see how he does. Because he's like, my car is just sitting here. Let's see how he does. I'm like, okay, cool. I ain't gonna lie, when I got the car, I didn't even know what to price it at. So I just remember going on Facebook Marketplace. I'm like, you know what, let's try it $300 per day. When I put it on there for $300 per day, I got so many DMs, I had to delete the ad.
Boom. That's how you know your price too low.
You feel me? So I raised it from 300 to 500, still same thing. I was getting so many messages that my phone was freezing.
Yeah.
So I had to delete the ad, get back to the people, and that's how I really got introduced to the private rental and just seeing how much money you can make. And again, BMW i8 at the time, $500 per day. That car was going out every day.
So how much are you making? Like when let's say probably like a couple months in, how much are you making on that BMW i8 renting at private rentals?
Okay, so the BMW i8, the first one, I was a little aggressive, but I was still being a little conservative in a way because it wasn't my car. So I was still being careful while still trying to understand just how the business works, which honestly, I am so grateful that nothing happened because in the beginning, I didn't understand the whole insurance thing. I was just winging it. So thank God nothing happened, because it wasn't my car. But when I bought my second, when I got the other i8, which was my personal, now that one, I had that car for about a year. It got totaled exactly a year after buying it. That car made me every bit of 80 to 90K in that 1 year owning it, for sure.
So you're probably making like 10K a month on that?
No, that car was doing every bit of 15 to 20K a month.
Boom.
Yeah.
15 to 20K a month on the BMW
One
i8.
car. Yeah.
Okay.
That would be like, I would say that was like the first time for me seeing that kind of money, that kind of cash so quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I just remember how well that car was doing, and it was crazy. You know what I mean?
The BMW i8s were really a thing, man.
Yeah.
We had a BMW i8 that actually bottomed out on Turo, which it got covered. It was totaled, but it was so low to the ground that every time we kept going into these parking garages, we were in California and we were so scared that it was going to scrape the bottom. Somebody rented the car and I guess they just came out the parking lot too hard and it totaled the car. And I was like, so the BMW i8s are really low. So you said it got in a car accident then?
Yeah, man. It actually crashed during prom season.
Okay.
Prom season is like the biggest time people, at least on my side of town, with all the luxury cars that we had, prom season, every year you would lose one or two, maybe three. You just don't know which one of your fleet is going to be totaled for the most part. So my i8 got totaled in 2023, June 1st, 2023. And June 1st, 2022, my Audi Q8 got totaled. Same date. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. The Q8 got totaled also during prom season.
I think I remember you telling me.
Yeah. They rolled that thing on the freeway doing 25 miles per hour.
Dang.
Yeah.
They rolled the car?
Rolled it. I'm telling you. So what happened was, man, I still remember this. It was around like midnight. I was still up. And then while I'm chilling at the house, it's like someone told me to just look at my phone. You know how you get notifications all day to your other trackers and stuff?
Yeah.
I obviously missed that one. It was telling me there's an accident. So the accident happened around 9 p.m. I didn't notice it until midnight. Next thing you know, I just check. It says vehicle in an accident or whatnot. I'm like, whoa, is this good? But what's going on here?
Yeah.
So I contacted my partner. At the time, I was doing business with this guy that had he had luxury rental cars. So I partnered up with him, and he was moving a lot of my cars, but we were doing it like together type thing. He had the clientele because he's been in business for so long, but I had some of the cars that he wanted.
So
I
it's
was
like brokering them.
You feel me? Yeah, but I was going over there, showing up every day. We're doing it together, but in a way, I'm just kind of, I'm there, but not really. As soon as I got that notification, I shoot him a text like right away. I'm like, yo, hey, bro. I sent him a screenshot. I'm like, yo, looks like we have an accident in our hands right now. He goes, oh, okay, let me try to get in contact with the customer. He calls her that same time. Like, it's midnight. She answers the phone and calmly goes, yeah, there was an accident. We're at the hospital right now. Okay, are you guys okay? My son broke his arm, but his girlfriend is really hurt. I'll call you guys tomorrow. Click.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like a three-way conversation. So I'm on the other line. Like, whoa, okay, let's not panic. Very next day, I'm like, okay, let me go to the impound because I found out where the car is. Let me go try to figure out what his vehicle looks like. So right away, at the same night, being a car person, I'm already looking at parts. Like, okay, if it's the front end, this is what I'm looking at for parts. This is how much this is going to cost. So next day, we called the impound, and some impounds, I'm sure you've dealt with them, could be a total nightmare. Yeah. Some will want to help, some do not give a damn at all. So in that particular situation, when I called them, they didn't want to tell me any kind of information. I'm like, is the vehicle totaled? No, we don't know. Can you send me pictures? No, we don't do that. Everything was just no. Come and see it yourself. Okay, fine. So I show up. They're like, yeah, the vehicle's in the back. You might want to go look at it.
Ooh,
okay.
That's not good. That's not good sign.
Bro, what? You know what's so crazy? I still have the video of my reaction because I was recording as I was driving towards the car. So again, I'm still not thinking.
Did you post that?
No, I did not. I actually posted a picture.
I think I remember you posting a picture, but I remember you telling me the story. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just got a video of my reaction because I'm recording as I'm getting closer. Then you just could hear me go, oh my God. Because I was surprised they were alive. That's how bad the car looked. Yes, it was pretty bad.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. See, now that being in the rental car industry for this long, I think people still get surprised hearing these stories because I'm sure big companies have this all the time, but it's never going to hit the news typically unless it's like a really bad thing. But it happens every day. Yeah. Some people have 2 cars and their cars get totaled. Some people have a bunch of cars and the cars get totaled. So was the i8 your first total car?
The Q8 was my Q8.
Oh, the Q8
was. The Q8 was. And then the following year, the i8.
Yeah.
And the i8, no one got hurt. Again, parents came and rented it for the kid for prom. They had insurance and everything, so everything checked out good. The kid was sitting in the school parking lot as they were all about to leave. Some kid in a Grand Cherokee was doing donuts, lost control, and smashed the i8. That's what happened, literally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the kid was sitting in the car.
In the wrong place.
Wrong place, wrong time, and boom.
Wow.
Car just gets totaled like that.
Dang.
Yeah.
I feel like i8s get totaled easy.
They do, because the parts are very expensive. Yeah. But I will definitely say that I got very lucky. I say that I got very lucky with the luxuries and stuff like that, because my Q8 got totaled, boom, insurance paid it out, I was good. The i8, I had it for 1 year. In that 1 year expense, it made a lot of money, in my opinion at least, 80 to 90K, that's good money. But what I was doing was, everything the car was making, I was unloading cash cars.
Yeah.
So everything he was making, I was unloading cash cars. So that's why I say I got very lucky, because he really made it that long and made that much money. So I was able to really buy a bunch of cars to just be able to keep moving forward without having to worry about ever financing a car for rental.
Yeah, I like that. I like that what you said. You took the finance car and then you reinvested the money and buying cash cars. Mm-hmm. So like, I know you have all the cars at this point are cash.
Everything.
Okay. So everything's cash, right? So if somebody's starting like right now and they were deciding, hey, look, I have 3K and I have a 700 credit score, which way would you tell them to go and get started as far as in reinvesting? Because not a lot of people talk about the actual reinvesting part. They just say, go get a cash car, you get a cash car, and then people start living on the money. Yep. So how would you break it down? Like when you started, you still had a job? Or
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
Back to your question, if you had 3K, I would just recommend to go ahead and buy you a $3,000 car. Okay. Whatever that car is making, you're putting it aside to save so it can buy another car. A lot of people always ask me like, Mo, how did you grow so fast? This is crazy how quick you grew. I'm like, it's because to this day, I still put a lot of my income back into my business. That's how I'm able to still grow so much. You know what I mean? But it gets to a point that you can't ignore the income that's coming in.
Yeah.
Because I remember, what really made me go 100% in the cash cars was I had $7,000 worth of car payments plus insurance put together. It was like $7,200. And at the time I had maybe 3 or 4 cash cars, but that wasn't enough to cover that. And I just remember the previous year in the wintertime when it hit, it slowed down on the luxuries. So I'm like, okay, this next winter I'm gonna make sure to be okay, to make sure that I'm gonna cover myself. So let me get enough cars that's gonna cover this note. And I did it. And I'm like, ooh, $7,200. Now I ain't gotta worry about nothing. These cars, if they sit, it's cool. If I wanna drive them, it's cool. Whatever the case may be, right? Then I'm like, okay, how about we try to do 10K a month? Did my math. Okay, this is how many cars that I need. Boom, 10K. Okay, 15. Now I'm getting a little comfortable. Okay, 20K. Boom. So I remember from 20 to 60. In fact, when I was doing 60K a month, I didn't even know. My wife is the one that actually told me, like, oh my God, babe, we're doing 60K. I'm like, oh, for real? Okay, cool. Keep it moving. Another thing about me was I still to this day do not focus on what I'm seeing coming in. I just focus on building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at 60K a month, I was still driving for Lyft.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. Like a lot of people be like, bro, if I was doing half of that, a quarter of that, I wouldn't be. I'm like, but I guess that's the difference right there.
Yeah.
So at 60K a month, I was still driving for Lyft. That's when I actually quit. But I only did that because I didn't have the time to really put into doing or keep driving for Lyft.
Yeah.
So that's when I finally started letting my business pay for my personal bills.
Yeah.
But before that, everything, like my personal bills and all, that was being paid off of what I was making with Lyft. And still, any extra from Lyft, I'll throw it on, adding it on top of whatever the cars I'm making to buy more cars, even though I didn't need to.
So you're basically funding the machine.
Absolutely.
That's good. That's good. Most people in the rental car industry go bankrupt because they don't do that. And I've only seen a few people do this. I'm not at the scale, but have that investment plan because they have the other job. And it's crazy because I remember 3 years ago, I used to like, don't have a job, you need to be an entrepreneur, blah, 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 blah. Now I realize the power to that because I've never had a job. So what I'm saying is like a very small percent of people will actually be able to do because they already have a job.
Yeah.
And I really like that because what I realized with having all these mentees is the people that are like, no, I'm going to go from one business, maybe they're doing Airbnb to Turo. If you have so much stress in the business that the business has to make money, it can go good. Right? Like you can hustle, which I believe hustle culture like just pushes us, but there's more people that just fail.
Oh, for sure.
There's more people that are like, dude, this is too much. And then they go back to the job or they lose both of their businesses. So I think that's a good investment plan, like having extra income and reinvesting as much as you. That's all the big businesses do that.
Absolutely.
They just reinvest, and then maybe it depends on how long it takes them to be profitable. But the rental car industry is pretty liquid when you have economy cars.
Yeah.
You're getting them a good price. What would you say would be like the biggest strength? What is that deciding factor? Because most people, I think at 50 cars would have been like, I'm done. I'm good.
For sure.
100 cars, I'm good.
Yeah.
150 cars, and now 250, and you still have that look at y'all. Okay, I'm still gonna go. Yeah. I'm still doing the same things. What do you think that really is? I want to know what that, I guess, stems from. So,
for me, I'm gonna see how far we can take this. Okay, growing up, we all say, "Oh, we want to make a lot of money." Every one of us said that before, right? I feel like a very small percentage of us know what they really mean by that. Because everybody wants to say, oh, I want to make a lot of money. I want to be rich or whatever the case may be. So for me, it's like I started seeing a certain amount of money that I'm making that I never thought I'd make, even though, again, back to I want to make a lot of money. Then it got to a point now, okay, I'm making money that I never thought I would ever make in a way. So now, how much more can we make?
Yeah.
So I don't put a number on it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep going as much as I can. Because I remember 5 to 10K in your bank account or whatever, or just having it liquid was a lot of money. Now it's still a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. It still is. But I guess there's levels to it.
Yeah.
In terms of just how like now you can spend that 10K a lot easier than you would have a few years ago type thing.
For sure.
So there you go. So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So it's like now what's the next level to that? Because there's obviously always levels to it.
Yeah.
So I just want to push it as much as I can.
So I basically call that's like the flow state, right? I feel like people have that in their life. Like most people don't ever hit this state, which is like the flow state, and which is like the victory lap. Like you're doing stuff. You're like doing extra credit at this point because you could stop. You have money. You're making money. You could stop. But do you feel like operating from your first 1K to 10K in the rental car industry versus the next level. Like, okay, everything's paid. I can quit, doing other things. And now I'm in this extra space, the flow of everything. Which one do you feel? Do you feel like it's easier in one or the other space, or?
So for me, I'd say doing 10K was the hardest thing. I don't know why. It was just so hard to do that, right? Then okay, once I made it there, then it was like keeping 10K was another problem, bro. I'm like, okay, 10K is coming in, but I cannot see past 10K in my account.
Yep.
So once it gets to 10K, next thing you know, it drops back down to maybe 7, 6, or whatever. But then, like I said, when I jumped to 10, past the 10, got to 20, from 20 to 60, that jump happened without me even realizing that it got there. Then my next big number was, I want to see 100K a month. I don't even know why. The 100K a month was just a goal, bro. I remember when we first hit it, it was like, okay. I don't know what feeling was I expecting, but I didn't get that. I didn't get it at all.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. Unless for you, it wasn't like that. But yeah, for me, the first 100K a month, it was like, okay, we hit it. Okay. I was a little confused in a way because I'm like, I thought I was going to feel something. I don't even know what I was expecting, but there was that.
Movies be making us think we go feel real. Man, I felt the same way. The first time I ever made a lot of money in like a short amount of time was actually 50K. And it was in real estate. And I made it and I was just like, it was weird. It was almost like an empty feeling because I'm like, I've been chasing this goal and now it's done. This project is complete and this is the receipt of that. And all it told me was, I got to go do something else. I put all my time in this thing, made this money, and same thing in the rental car space. It's just, okay, we made the money and I'm like, okay, what's next? And it's always what I feel like people that really build their businesses in a long term do have that feeling.
Absolutely.
Because people do have that space of making the money and spending it real quick. Have you had that? Like where you're like, okay, I'm just going to spend some money. Like, I feel like everybody has to go through that at least one point, but not everybody does. Some people are just naturally, hey, this is how I'm going to do it. Have you had that in the rental car space?
No, people I actually get people come to me and be like, so Mo, like the people I guess that kind of know a little bit of what I do. So what do you spend your money on? Because again, if you still see me, very simple, really know nothing. I'm just not that guy. I guess I'll spend my money on cars.
Yeah.
Now, again, I still don't have anything crazy by any means.
Yeah.
But I'll spend my money on cars, like the little tuners, you know what I mean? Buy some and just throw money at it type thing.
Yeah.
But even that, like I said, my wife tells me, she'd be like, if you really think about it, you don't really do much for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just taking care of the people around me, really. That's what I do mostly. So I guess I work. Most of my money is spent on the people around me.
Yeah. I think that's how I am too when it comes to that. So my earrings, that's about it. It's the only jewelry I got. I be seeing people with watches, bro, and I'm like, do I want to watch? I just don't see it. For me, it's like I buy real estate. So I'm like, I just want to buy another house.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to buy. Everybody has their thing. Some people, you could just see it when you see them.
Facts.
Right? If it's jewelry or shoes or clothes. I'm not into any of that stuff because it's just, there's like 50,000 options of everything. Right. So it's like a house is simple. I'm like, okay, that's my house. I want that house. And it makes it a little bit easier.
But sometimes, do you ever think that some people actually may look like they got money, but they don't?
Yeah. I think that's why I don't like certain things. Like I'm not like a person, okay, I want to go get a chain. I'm like, okay, but what it's going to devalue as soon as you buy it, especially if you're not buying gold. If you're buying gold, okay, but I wouldn't necessarily want to walk around with that. And a lot of people do. So it's like the difference between one person wearing a chain and the other person wearing a chain. I guess it might be how they're walking, but the reality is you don't know how much money people have. You don't know what that looks like. And people spend money on all different things. But that's the thing in the space, like all these spaces on, especially the rental car space, I think there's so many people. The thing was like, I have 15 cars. That was huge for me. I was like, I have 15 cars. People were like, oh my God, 15 cars. And then it's crazy. It was this weird thing. Once I got over 100 cars, people stopped being as excited for me. They're like, I have 100 cars. I'm like, I'm going to teach. I'm like at an event and we're telling them, oh yeah, this guy has 100. I was at 50 cars. And this guy, my boy at the time was like 50 cars, which is probably more than all I have is one car. And he said that. And I was like, people I don't think they registered. I have enough cars to fill up that parking lot we're in. Now I'm like, we have enough cars to fill up the parking lot a couple times. But after we got over 50 cars, I realized there is levels to it. because the way I taught people, it's very hard for me to tell people at level when they're starting what to do.
Facts.
Because if you look at most entrepreneurs that are really rich, you need to work hard, you need to do this, you need to do that. Yeah. You're like, I'm working 3 jobs, bro. How hard am I supposed to work? Like now, but there's a disconnect. You do get that disconnect. And I never saw it until I kept teaching. And I'm like, someone was like, dude, like who, I said this on the podcast. I was like, you can co-host, you can ask someone that has an extra car or use your extra car. Yeah. And he's like, who has extra cars? And I'm like, everybody, right? And he was like, bro, no. And I was like, I'm disconnected because
that's what it is.
There is a certain level that you can't teach down. Like you could only remember so much on that first car. Like you could only remember so much when you first started.
Yeah.
And the ideology changed, right? Like now we're like, to me, I think having more cars is a less risk than having. I think the worst position was when I was at 1 to 14 cars.
Yeah.
I was the most stressed I've ever been.
I agree. Because
now it's less risk because we are more used to car accidents. We're more used to all this other things.
Yeah.
And we have more money to be able to fund the fact that we got a car accident.
Yeah.
And we got to pay for it. Yeah. Before you're like, I need this insurance to hit.
Stressing.
The payment. So what's the longest time? So let's talk about impounding because we've actually had cars impounded for people doing crime. We had a car that was impounded by Border Patrol in San Diego, which was worse than getting seized by the cops. That was like 8 months. And they're like, they didn't care. Like it's sometimes hard to work with impounds, like you said, but when you work with them, the feds basically, they're like, dude, we don't care. This was caught smuggling people. Like,
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so the car was caught smuggling people. They seized the car for it was like 6 months and still had to pay the payment. Your insurance company don't care. The lender don't care.
Nope.
Border Patrol don't care. At that point, what I realize now, because we're in a really big situation I can't talk about yet, but I realized you're on 2 sides of this. You're either in a car accident or like when people do crime in your car, you're either a victim.
Yeah.
You're a rental car company. You could technically be a victim of breach of contract or different things.
Yeah.
Or you helped the suspect. You gave them a car that they otherwise didn't have, and now they drove to smuggle people from Mexico. So Border Patrol, we don't know what company it is, we don't care.
We're holding it.
Yeah. And that's probably the hardest to get the car back was from Border Patrol.
Sheesh. I mean, we do border Canada, so I hope we're never in a situation like that.
I think that might be harder than getting it back from Mexico at this point.
Yeah, so for us, the longest we ever had a car at the impound was about 3 months. 3 months. But again, I guess the difference is that's a cash car.
Yeah.
Not saying forget about it, but it's like, okay, it's there. We'll get it when we get it type deal. But of course, you still want to pursue and get your car back. But yeah, that would be the longest we ever had. It was 3 months. 3 months. And what happened was, which one? I'm trying not to get the stories mixed up. Yeah, 3 months. 3 months. Which one was that? Oh, yeah. So some renter came and rented the vehicle and then drove up to somebody's house, beat the crap out of them, and burned the house to the ground. I thought I was like, okay, what does the car have to do with this? Yeah. But I guess they drove off with the car. And I think they actually got away. So the car got impounded some way, somehow, but the person never got caught. So they kept the car for 3 months.
Wait, they never got caught?
I don't think so.
Wow.
Because the detective was working with us closely in terms of just trying to get more information. We're like, bro, like, how did you guys even find the car? And if that's the case, they wouldn't tell us because they always be like, we're not at liberty to tell you. Yeah. When they finally released the vehicle, they kept the radio. We're why? They're like, because their fingerprints were on there. So maybe that'll be our chance to catch this person. That's when we're like, so they never caught the person.
Bro.
Okay. Interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's interesting to realize how, when you're in this industry, how important cars are to like criminal cases and how many people actually like, most people drive a car to go commit some sort of crime.
Yeah.
And they're going to take the car, which is crazy. And that they drove off.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, man. I've seen and heard all types of stories. Some of them, I still try to make sense of it. Where it's like, what?
They burned down the house?
Burned down the house.
Yeah, that's probably on the top list of crazy stuff. Because it has nothing to do with the car. It's not, I think people think that, okay, all of our cars are going to get in accidents. And it does. They do. But on a one-off like that, and they didn't catch him, 3 months is actually not bad.
No.
For that.
But it could have been bad if that car was financed.
Yeah.
Just think about it. Like you said, your insurance company doesn't care. So obviously we're still paying for insurance on that car. But if it was a car note, that would suck.
Yeah.
So you're still making payments on that car. And there's a big chance that when you do get that car back, there could be damages too. We had one. We had a crazy story, actually. Y'all want me to tell the story?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. So a renter comes in, gets a car, and then they went and robbed a bunch of stores. Like, robbed a bunch of stores. Next, we got detectives. Everybody's calling us, trying to figure out if this is our car. Yeah, obviously it's our car. You guys found us. It's our car, which is usually that's the first step. They'll find you, whoever this is registered to. You know, that whole, oh, it's registered to the business. They will find you. Like, they'll come to your house. Detective shows up, talk to us, boom, boom. We tell them, okay, we're just obviously a rental car company. This is our car, yes. Where's the vehicle? They're like, we need to locate this vehicle. Maybe this part we should share. Or just conversation. So they came up with a warrant and everything. Brought a warrant.
What?
So now at that point, you have no choice but to share.
Them, yeah.
So after they got what they need, they get involved with a high-speed chase with the person. Then they finally call us, yeah, we got the vehicle, we got the person, this and that. We'll be in contact. Tell me why maybe 2 weeks later, we finally go to see the car. Man, that thing is totaled.
Yeah, they hit it?
They hit the crap out of the car, bro.
Oh, yeah, they did the, was it pit maneuver?
Man, what? Yeah, destroyed the car. I mean, I'm talking about, this thing was hit all sides. Left, right, back, everything.
What were they doing? Like actual armed robberies or they like shoplifting?
Shoplifting.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. They got a warrant for that?
Yeah.
That's insane.
The cops just really wanted to catch these guys. They've been getting away with it for a while.
Yeah.
So I guess it's because man, if criminals really would put all that thought into just being legal, they would do so well.
Yeah.
So these guys, I guess they just kept on getting different vehicles, not just from us, from different places. And yeah, so they'll get different cars, do their thing, and the cops learned their pattern. They just were trying to figure out who they were. I guess by the time they did, we were the unlucky company that had them in that car at last. And yeah, car got destroyed from that.
That's crazy. They did the pit maneuver. So that got totaled out.
Done.
Wow. It was a cash car at the time.
It was a cash car. So back to your point earlier, when you were talking about having 15 cars, you were nervous a lot.
Yeah.
That is very true. Because, like, for example, this year so far is April? We've lost probably, there's one that just got into accident, right? When we were talking on the phone earlier. I don't think it's a total loss because I saw some of the text messages, so it might just be damage. But just this year alone, we lost at least about 12 to 13 cars.
Yeah.
Now you got to figure that's somebody's whole fleet right there.
Yeah, it'd been done.
I'm talking about just boom, done. So we're able to wash those because we have so many cars.
Yeah.
So like, for example, for us, when accidents happen, we don't do claims.
Okay.
We don't do claims at all. So we just go straight to obviously we contact the impound, see if the vehicle's condition, if they want to tell us. If they don't, sure, we show up, look at the vehicle, make sure it's salvageable, meaning some parts that could be reused unless we can just get the vehicle out and get it repaired. Those 12 to 14 cars that I'm talking about, we literally just got there, boom, this thing is totaled. All right, cool, let's grab a plate, grab what we need to get out of there, and what we do, handle the title and keep moving.
Boom.
Yeah.
So you guys don't do any. So typically when people get their cars totaled, they want to go do the claim. They're going to get paid if they have gap, depending. So you guys, at scale, you found it better not to do claims. Why is that?
So people need to understand when you're in this rental car business, you're in the insurance business at the same time. If you have no insurance, you don't have a business anymore, which is the rental car business. You just don't have none of it if you don't have insurance. And having insurance also, you have to have the right kind of insurance. You've got a lot of people that will keep the vehicles and their personal insurance and still rent them out. I think that's suicide. Knowing what I know now, let's say that. Knowing what I know now, I think that's insane. So having commercial insurance, your insurance company will never tell you, don't make a claim because I'm going to count it against you. Yep. They will never tell you that. They'll be like, yeah, of course, we're covering you. And the average person, which again, that's the right thing of thinking, if I'm paying you monthly, you're supposed to cover my car and you're telling me if something goes wrong, you will fix or pay me back.
Yeah.
Of course, if something happens, it's common sense for me to make a claim. But if you're in this rental car business, you cannot do claims because every time you do a claim, they put it on something called a loss run report. A lot of people never heard of a loss run report. Your loss run report is pretty much your report card in the insurance industry. And every time you make a claim, they put it on there. Boom, you made a claim, this is how much it costs. Then at the end of the year, they're going to look at your profile and see if they made money off of you or lost. Sometimes, even if they got close to just being even, you're getting dropped. So you got to keep that in mind.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So let's say if you're paying them, let's say $10K a month, times 12, that's $120,000. And they paid out by 80 grand, you're getting dropped. There's a you're probably getting dropped for sure. You know what I mean? So now it's too close, you're a liability. Then the second you get dropped, guess what? Now you go apply at a new insurance company. They're going to ask for that loss run report.
Yeah.
Then you're going to provide that. They're like, oh, my man is a high risk right there. Nah, bro, we good. Now, guess what? You're uninsurable.
Yeah.
And if you are in that situation, if your pockets sound deep a little bit, you could be out of business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is if your pockets sound deep a little bit, meaning, because like, again, people like us, we're going to always find ways. So if your loss run report is bad, that means, let's say it's me and you, well, my loss run report is bad. Now I guess I'm uninsurable.
Right.
Well, we're going to use you.
Exactly.
But it's going to be a little costly now because now we got to get a whole nother LLC, which is cheap, but we got to transfer all the cars. Just imagine transferring 100 plus cars.
Yeah.
We had to go through that, so I know. It was very expensive.
I bet.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're in this rental car business, man, in my opinion, you should not do any claims. Use your claims only for the liability aspect of it if people got hurt. But collision, never, ever. Don't even think about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to hear that. The second thing, what do I pay insurance for? Go ahead and try it and see. I mean.
Yeah. There's definitely, I think there's different thoughts, right, as you go in these levels. But I think some of these thoughts like that we do in actions in the first 1 to 50 cars is probably the most important. Or the first 25 cars, I think is actually really important because most people have about 25, 30 cars. Is really important because at scale, you don't even know that it's bad to do that because they damn sure don't know about no loss run report.
Nope.
At scale, you're like, okay, we're just not going to do that. And it's just like this waiting period of, okay, do we scale or not? I think it's very dangerous for rental car companies staying under 20 cars. Yeah. And I see a lot of people do all the work. Like it's like one person or two people and they're running 20 cars. And I'm like, what are you going to do next? Because if you don't have a strategy, the money you're making is cool, but you're not building a business. No, you're not building equity in the cars. People say like, oh yeah, I'm building equity. I'm like, these cars are going to depreciate no matter what type of way you done it. They're going to depreciate some. You're better off with cash cars because you could sell them, but you just spent all your time doing this for 20 to 30 cars. So the only way I see is really to just scale. And in the last year, figured that this game is, like you said, about insurance. So compliance is one of them because you'll go bankrupt with compliance. Yeah. And the numbers, which is just the cash flow, which you have, which is like buying the cars in cash. Those are like the two biggest things. So like when I started, I was posting all these videos. I never actually rented to people on Instagram also. So it was like, why am I making all these videos? That's why I stopped posting as much because I'm like, this business is not about a supply and demand thing. Nope. There's demand. Do you need a car? Did you get here in a car? He got here in a car. He got here in a car. I got here in a car. You need a car. That's simple. It's simple economic. That what I've watched time and time again is people losing from insurance, time and time again for people losing for cash flow. Yep. We talk about all the time finance cars. So if somebody's, what do you think the most, you talk to a lot of people in the rental car space. How do you know, do you meet people and you're thinking, like when they're talking to you, do you ever think, okay, this person's, they're going to be out of business? Like what, like if we were talking and we had a conversation, what are a couple of things that you would say, these are the biggest red flags? Like they're probably not going to make it in the next 2 years. So for me, obviously insurance would be the first one. The people that just cannot swallow that pill, that just be like, oh, he's crazy. I will make a claim. You're not going to be in the business long. Eventually, you'll see. That would be number one. Number two would be I also get people that be like, hey man, what kind of background checks do you run? Because think about it. Okay. If you are going to run background checks, then you might as well go be a Hertz or Enterprise. Yeah. Hertz and Enterprise. Because, okay, a lot of times, especially a lot of us doing the cash business, we're renting out to people that cannot get cars from Hertz or Enterprise. Yeah. So the second you say background check, there goes 95 or 98% of your clientele. You ain't got no customer after that. You feel me? they're tedious. It does get tedious when we do Uber and Lyft drivers, and it's tedious because I'm like, if they had a bunch of money up front to pay me, and they wouldn't be in this situation. If they had good credit, they would probably just get their own car. Rarely do we have someone that owns a car and has a car. And what we do is we have them have insurance as well. Because if they're Uber or Lyft, they have to have some sort of insurance anyways.
Yeah.
And that right there, they're like, I don't have a car. Yeah. I'm like, I know you don't have a car, but you're going to have a car. Exactly. And you're going to need insurance because they're not going to take our commercial insurance for your Uber and Lyft. Yeah. But those little small things like that, it's the difference between, like you said, 95% of customers. Yep. Can't do that. So how do you go about, you do Uber and Lyft rentals still?
Dude, out of all of our cars that's on the road, maybe 1 or 2.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So you rent them just
everyday people.
Everyday people. Do you require them to have insurance?
No.
So you basically self-insured at this point.
We are. Okay. We've been self-insured for a while.
I think that's definitely like a game changer.
Yeah.
At that scale, because you're reducing the friction. So what about like deposits and stuff? Like if I wanted to rent one of your cars, what would I need? It's like an ID.
So, not an ID, a driver's license. It's funny because we do get those questions too. People be like, "Do you need to have a license for real?" Yes, of course. We have an age restriction requirement, 23 or older. Okay. And our deposits is just a flat $300. That's it.
Easy.
Yeah, flat $300. So you gotta have a deposit plus your weekly rental up front. So when you come to pick up a car, there's going to be a deposit plus whatever that weekly for that car is up front. Okay. And then every week, if you decide to extend, which the day before you will receive a text that's going to ask you if you're extending tomorrow or not. If you say yes, it'll send you another text with payment instructions or return instructions.
So did you have stricter requirements before and said, okay, I'm going to reduce the friction? Or it was just like, I know my area, I know my customer, this is what I need to do? Man.
It was just trying.
You just tried.
Man, what? So at one point, dude, I done rented to 19-year-olds. In 21, then the requirement was like 21. Then at 21, it seems like we're still having a lot of issues. Then we're like, okay, 23. Now we just going to stand out. Just keep it at 23. Yeah. Even though I've had some 21-year-old renters that were pretty good, just like I've had a lot older that are way worse. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what I normally tell people is just go with your gut, man. Yeah. Just go with your gut feeling. But that whole background check, leave that at the door, man. Because think about it. Because a lot of us black people, a lot of us will have something on our background over a parking ticket, unpaid tickets, little dumb stuff like that. They don't necessarily have to do anything bad, but it could be just something like that. And if they hear that you're going to do a background check, oh yeah, I'm going to call you back. He's not calling you back, or she's not calling you back. You say you're about to run a background check. They don't know what's going to happen from there, even though nothing will.
It's like getting the job. They're like, man, I'm just trying to get the car. What do you do? I need a background check to get the car?
Yeah. So that's what I tell people. Just don't worry about that. Go with your gut feeling. You're not feeling them? Guess what? You're able to see your vehicles. Yeah. So you ain't feeling them, just tell them you can't renew this week, man. Car is booked for somebody else or whatever you got to tell them. Get your car back.
I wouldn't want to do a background check for a rental car. Yeah. It just sounds like, why are we doing all this?
Exactly.
It's actually funny that you said the ID things. I had this rented car I had on co-host, and she was young. She was like, I feel like she was 19, bro. This is like my first private rental. It was what's a little car called? I forget the name. It's like a little 2-door car and like little 2 doors. It's small. It's like a smart car. Yeah, pretty much. A little bit bigger than that. So we got that car, and I'm like, okay, I go and meet him. So it was very weird. It was a very weird situation. So there was like additional people there. And I'm like, okay, who's driving the car? Okay, because why are you giving me his ID? Like, why is he here? And this guy's 10 years older than this girl. So I'm like, we're in Vegas. This is already very sketchy. And I need this car to go because my investor, I need it to go. So I'm like, all right, just give me your ID. You're driving the car, right? And she's, yeah, I'm driving the car. So she gives me her ID. That was fine. And it just was a very weird situation. So as they started driving the car, it was my mess up on Apple Pay. I had 2 Apple Pays, and Apple said, oh, guess what? You can only have one. And I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, you can have only one. So we're going to refund everybody their money back. So they refunded her money back. So guess now what I'm doing? I'm like, hey, can you send that money back? And she didn't do it for 2 days. So I'm like, now we have to go repo this car.
Sure.
Mind you, we didn't have kill switch, and we only had a regular tracker. And this car was driving all around Vegas. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I call one of my boys. I'm like, look, we got to go get this car. And this is a very serious person. So he's like, all right, let's go. And I'm like, all right, let's go. So we go get the car. And we're like, they were at a bunch of Verizons and a bunch of stores. They drove. We're trying to follow them. Trackers take time.
Yeah.
We follow them all the way into a hood in Vegas. And they go into a gated community.
Oh.
And I'm like, all right, we're going to do it. So we pull up. I'm like, hey, bro, my car's back there. I need to get it. And the guy just was like, all right. He didn't say anything. He just opened the gate. And I was like, thank God, because they just got home and I only had one key for the car. So we get to the house and I'm like, my boy's there and he's like sitting in the car. And I'm like, okay. He's sitting in the car still. So I'm like, hey, come here. I need you guys. We came to get the car. The girl's all upset. No, we're not going to give you the car. No. And she's like, why? Because it was like the repo thing because of the Apple Pay. They had literally 50 bags in this little ass car. And I don't know what scams or stores they was stealing from or scamming from, but literally I had to watch them unload it. Finally, they're like, okay, we'll give you the car because her dude came out. And I'm like, and he's, bro, like, you guys got to give us a car. Finally, they took so I'm watching them for 5 minutes just unload this car. Bro, so much shoes and clothes and phones. I'm like, they're definitely doing some crime in this car. And and it was just like, bro, it was so lucky that we got there right then and there, because if not, we'd have to knock on the door. And that would have been even a bigger thing. Yeah. As soon as they pulled in, we pulled right in.
Oh, that's perfect.
It was perfect timing, but I didn't have 2 keys. I didn't have a kill switch. Those are automatically wrong. And I shouldn't have rented to her because she didn't really have everything required. You know, a lot of people, that's why it took so long for me to do private rentals, because I have investors. So I'm thinking, okay, we got to make money, but we got to be safe.
Yeah.
We got to make money, but we got to be safe. And over time, I'm like, okay, I'd rather be safe.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, all that would have took is that girl. What if we couldn't get in there? And they live in a gated community. How are we going to go get the car back? They just live in the gated community. So that was like very lucky. And then I had another girl rent a car for me. I got her from Hire Car. She rented a car for me. And she's driving one day and she's like, I hit something in the road.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is Vegas, so there's actually not that much stuff on the freeway. So I'm like, okay, can you send me a picture? It was a finance Kia. The front was all fucked up, leaking. It was like $2,000 to replace. She used traveler's insurance. They was like, we're not covering this shit. And then I come to find out later, I was like looking at her ID closer, and I'm like, I asked her, I'm like, so what's up with your ID? She tells me later, after she wasn't renting from me, she's like, it was a fake ID. Bro, that was lucky. That was only $2,000. I was just like, who did you hit? Did you hit somebody?
Yeah.
Like, no, I just hit something in the road. I'm like, bro, it's all messed up. And then we had another person rent our car in California. They say they got, and this was on Hire Car, I don't know, like, and the good thing they probably went bankrupt, but like, they got better at the end. But so this girl got in a car accident, and she was saying it was a 1-person car accident. So my team, okay, it's on Hire Car, just have them handle the tow. They tow the car. But the tow truck gets there really late, and it was very weird. The tow truck driver brings the car to his house.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, so we had a car that was lost for 3 days. Because I'm like, where's the car? It's at this guy's house. This guy's house is the tow yard. So because they're getting paid extra. And Hire Car hasn't paid me yet. So I have to keep the car. We're like, why did you take the car to your house? It doesn't even make any sense. I don't know what they was doing. But that girl said she got into a single person accident. There was a hole about this big under the car. I don't know what she hit. I don't know what they were doing. It was this big under the car. And not the oil. I think it was an oil pan.
Oil pan, yeah.
Yeah, huge. And she's like, why hit something? I'm like, what did you hit that went up into the car like that?
She might have went off-roading or something.
She did something.
Or hit a big-ass rock off the oil pan or something.
San Diego's weird because you always have to like really think about the stories that these people are telling you because they have so much. They're so close to the border.
Right.
So what did you actually do?
And being in this business, I'm sure you already know too, people never really tell you the truth. They never, ever do.
Half truths.
Bro, what? And the famous line is, they hit me.
Yeah.
It's never I hit them. they hit me. I've never heard anyone says I hit them.
They're like, I ain't saying those words. I'm not saying those words on this phone to you right now.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And just tell me the truth so we can figure this out. It'll be easier that way versus us trying to piece it together.
I think people think it's just, okay, if I lie, I might get out having to pay something, which typically you don't actually get out because people that have hundreds of cars know you're lying.
Exactly. There's a contract in place that says all those things. So
we actually had a car that was in a parking lot waiting for a trip, and it got hit or it came back from a trip. So we had a Tesla that was sitting in a parking lot, and I guess overnight a U-Haul hit it.
God.
So we go to the car, and there's a note on the car that says, I hit the U-Haul. Listen to this. There's another note on the car that says, I witnessed somebody hit your car. Give me a call. I'll be a witness. And let me tell you, the person that put their policy number or whatever from U-Haul insurance company they were like, not trying to pay. It took 6 months for them to actually, we had to report them to Department of Insurance and everything, or threaten them at least.
Wow.
And yeah, they took a very long time because they couldn't even understand, okay, where's this claim? And you just have a note and have another note of a witness. It was a very weird thing. That was probably the weirdest story I actually had because we didn't see it. We just pulled up to our car. We have 2 notes sticky note to our car, taped on the car.
That's funny as hell.
I guess they backed up into the parking. They were backing up and they hit it, but they hit the back. No, Tesla, they hit the light. They hit all the shit. Fucked it up.
And somebody saw them.
Yeah, somebody saw them and hurried up and came and wrote a note right after that's a good witness, though. Who has paper readily available and tape or whatever to pin on my car? So
I'm going to make sure they're going to get their stuff fixed.
Yeah, a witness.
Oh, man, that's hilarious, man. But yeah, in this business, you definitely see all types of stuff, Sometimes I just sit and think about it. I'm like, oh my God, some of the things that we hear and see.
Yeah.
We had a car stolen out of, this is a funny story. This is a funny story. I'm going to still tell y'all. So one of our renters rented a car, went like a couple of hours away from our location or whatnot, and then somehow fell asleep at the wheel, lost control, and got in a ditch. The vehicle got towed, impounded, and whatnot, because when the car got in the ditch, I guess her boyfriend is the one that was driving the car, and the dude ain't got no license. He wasn't waiting for the cops to show up. Dude just took off, left the car there. Then the girlfriend calls us to tell us the vehicle is impounded. But she actually did say what happened. So me and my buddy go drive the 2 hours to pick up the car. We got there, come to find out the vehicle's got 4 flat tires. I'm like, dude, somebody's got to tow this. I wish you had told me so I didn't have to drive 2 hours or whatever. Cool. We call one of the tow truck companies that we know, have them go pick up the car. They go pick up the car, bring it to my brother's shop. When they pulled up at his shop, it was like around, I think, 9 p.m. or so. This is actually really funny because, man, tow truck comes and drops off the car. When he drops off the car at the shop, he takes off. Next day, I remember talking to my brother on the phone, and it crossed my mind to ask him, where's the car? Because we have 2 different locations. So in my mind, it's at his shop. In his mind, it's at the location. But every time I think about asking him, something just tells me, something comes up and I forget to ask him. So now, after a week, I finally just remember. I'm like, yo, where's this car? I thought he's supposed to be at the office. I'm like, no, it's not. He goes, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. He goes, okay, we'll figure it out. We forget again. That was before when we're really understaffed. So we forgot about it because we're just doing everything. On the 11th day, I'm at home at night. My brother just sends me a video. A video showing that when the tow truck dropped off the car, 5 minutes later, some dude just walks up, gets in the car, starts it up, and takes off.
On 4 flats?
Yes.
What?
You can see the car going like this. He just took off. So we didn't know. So the car was stolen for 11 days. So obviously we're trying to figure out where the vehicle is. It's sitting at somebody's house in the backyard. We call, because at first it was kind of like, okay, yo, this video shows that it's too weird. It's almost like it was an inside deal.
Yeah.
Because as soon as the tow truck dropped it off, My man walked up and he knew exactly where the keys were. He just
Yeah.
so not that we're saying it was just weird.
Yeah.
But we know these people. We know them really well. So they're literally family. We call my man's and he goes, what? Then my brother tell him, we found the car. He goes, I'm about to pull up over there. So he drive by and goes, I see the car, but it's in the backyard. And like, it's literally in the backyard and there's a gate. I can see the car. And he said, because he drove by there at night and there was a few other cars in that same backyard and there was somebody working in those cars.
They're taking parts.
Some. But they never touched the car. They let it sit there for 11 days. And it just sat there. On the 12th day, that's when me and my brother went over there to get the car. We showed up, nobody was there. Obviously, we showed up with the cops. Cops showed up, knocked on the door, nobody's at home, nobody's answering. There's a dog barking though. Maybe somebody was there, I don't know. Nobody would answer. Then the cop walked back there, checked the VIN, checked everything, cleared out. He saw a car. He's like, where's your tow truck's right there? Shows up, boom, drags that car out, and we take it.
What the heck? And you never found out anything about that?
No, we still don't know who he was.
How did they drive the car on 4 flats?
Bro, and they literally drove it, and where they took it, it was a good 20 to 22 minutes drive.
Bro,
you could see him leaving the lot like this. Literally, the car is just shaking trying to leave because it's on 4 flats.
Bro, what? I didn't even know you could do that. People get scared. You get 1 flat, you're like, I'm good. 4 flats is insane.
So now I'm like, did he go down the street? Somebody picked up. We don't know.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That
he
is a
drove it
funny
like 12
story.
miles, I think. Yeah, it was from one. Yeah, it was weird.
That's good. So what would you tell somebody that wanted to get started in the private rental space? I know that we talked about like the insurance and stuff, but or actually somebody that's switching from Turo, because I've been talking about this a lot lately. There's a lot of people that are switching. They've already have 7 to 10 cars. They want to get onto the Turo space, but that's like I think that seems like a bigger jump than just starting private rental.
Yeah. What I tell people like that is you already have a clientele. People that's been renting with you through Turo. Those are the same people that you want to just retarget. Because I know when I was doing Turo in those 8 months, I already had customers that would call me directly. So I was already locked in with those people. Just retarget those same exact people. And the biggest one and the free way is go on Facebook Marketplace.
Yep.
Go on Facebook Marketplace, take pictures of your car, and list it up there. Now, some of your posts might get flagged. Just keep doing them. You know what I mean? Sometimes use different wording and stuff like that. But yeah, dude, that's really all there is to do. You know what I mean? Just that switch, it's not that hard. Now, I get it. A lot of them, they think about safety. They're like, oh my God, Turo got insurance and all that stuff. Private, you don't. Well, you can just cater to people that have insurance if you want to go that route. Because there's still people out there that have insurance that are willing to put up their insurance to rent your car. So there's still that. It's just all about how far are you willing to go to move these cars? You know what I mean? Yeah. Because, you got people that will have all these car notes and just sit there and just suffer. That's crazy. You're already in it now. What are you going to do? Go bankrupt? You can, but why?
That's a painful. So,
I would try. And the other way is try to push these cars out. Now, just don't give your cars to anyone. Of course not. But still, just make sure you check all your stuff. Make sure you got your trackers, kill switches, all that stuff. You know what I mean? Things hit the fan, just go get your car. Yeah. But yeah, you can just cater to people that have insurance. There's that too, for the people that want to play it safe.
Yeah, I like that. So we require insurance, or we have Uber and Lyft drivers that need to have insurance. And we actually worked on developing an app that sends you, so basically say that you're the renter. I would send you a link. You would sign in your insurance. It would send me all the policy information. I would be able to see that it's real, because you can't sign into it if it's fake, because people do that fake stuff. They'll make fake insurance cards.
Man.
A lot. And then the second one, which is big, important, that I'll be able to see that it is not expired, because a lot of people will rent the car and then go cut the insurance off and let it expire. So we use that, and that's been pretty beneficial. That's a good gap for people that are bridge, especially finance cars from Turo moving on to private rental, because that's why it took so long. We talked a long time for a while on why I was taking the private rental. I'm like, I don't know the insurance. I tried the traveler's insurance, which was not the best. Yeah. And then all these insurance came, like Lula. Yeah. And then went bankrupt. Man. And had everybody's claims. And then Hire Car went bankrupt. Yeah. By the way, I had a claim with them, and we were at the end of a total loss. And Hire Car sends everybody a message and says,
Yep.
we can't pay you guys anything. We can't pay you guys anything. And we are going to do our best to sit here in order of operations. I'm like, they're going bankrupt just like Lula.
Yep.
And people don't understand. If a company goes bankrupt, what are you going to do?
They have no money to give you, and they won't.
Yeah, you're not going to sue them because they already did all the stuff. They already knew they were going bankrupt before they did it.
Yeah.
Hire Car went bankrupt like they said that they were going bankrupt, but they posted on their site with like a 2-day notice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
told everyone to go get your cars back.
By the way, we don't have insurance anymore. So this whole thing is done. It was like, I was just on it the other day listing a car, and then I seen that and I'm like, dude, we have a claim.
Yeah.
And we had an investor on that car. They took too long to sign paperwork. So they're like, so Copart hit us back up and said, come get your car because we have your car and you need to get it back because what are you going to do with it? Yeah, very bad. So that's when I realized these platforms are a means to an end. And the biggest thing I realized when we were on Turo is the market's smaller.
Yeah.
It's a lot smaller than the big market because you could rent to all these people, but most of those people can't get on the Turo app.
Absolutely.
So now you're playing in a small market versus the market of they can rent on Turo, they can't rent on Turo, everybody.
Yeah.
Versus just, oh, you have to rent on Turo. And I've been seeing that they've been denying more and more people
Yeah.
over time to become more compliant.
Yeah.
So I think that's important.
No, that's very important. And honestly, there's another thing to like this whole thing that happened with Hire Car. I wouldn't be surprised if Turo's next. I actually been said it. And
That's good. Okay.
I've been said it and I feel like it's okay. Again, this is just me thinking. Now, people are gonna be like, Turo's not going nowhere. That's fine. I'm just saying based on what I think. Hire Car went down the drain because of claims. Again, guys, it's insurance. Okay, this takes us back to that whole you don't make any claims. Turo pays out a lot. Turo does a lot of freaking claims.
Bruh. And they pay a lot out.
That's what I'm saying. So we all know people that used to do Turo they live off of the claims. The claims is how they actually survive. How much longer they're going to keep being able to do that?
They're not. They're doing so many changes. It's funny because last time I was here, I said something similar because I'm like, Hire Car was a big one. Lula was big, but Hire Car and the way they did it 3 days, I'm like, they knew right before last second, and maybe they tried. The fact that they had a 3-day window is insane. That was like a compliance and a logistics nightmare for them.
Oh, for sure.
But I think Turo could be next. I agree with that. I think now Turo's positioning itself to try to sell somebody because they're doing so many requirements with insurance. They're trying to make it where they don't pay you out, maintenance. They're doing all these different things on the host side. They're not leaving the guests alone right now. Before the guests were getting whooped. I'm not gonna lie. On Turo, the guests were getting whooped, bro. Claims like left, right, smoke. But now it's harder to get a claim. But I think Turo is focused on how do we get as many users on this platform if they're smart, because they were burning money for a while. They never IPO'd, which they were supposed to, and go on the stock market and go public, but they didn't. So I think they're going to focus on how do we sell this company for what we have it now. And then, so I don't know if there's going to be another company like this. After Hire Car went down, there's a lot of success. There's some success stories, but it's the 10%, the 5%, the 1%.
Oh, for sure. Dude, it's just Lula. Lula got burnt out because of claims. You know what I mean? People were throwing Lula claims like crazy. But Lula also, they came in the game and did something that the other companies were not doing. Because you got companies like GMI and stuff like, there's other actual insurance companies that do rental cars out here. They're actually out here. But they're so tight in the way they do things, bro, you ain't getting a claim at all. No. You can try if you want to, but that's how they stayed in business. Dude, this rental car business is such a high-risk business. It's insane. Now, you're giving your cars to total strangers that don't have insurance. You know what I mean? So things will happen. Things will happen. Good, bad, everything will happen. Anything is possible. So for these insurance companies, for them to survive, they have to be so tight and not pay on anything. They just have to take in, because unfortunately, somebody's going to eventually get hurt, and that's that payout they cannot run away from. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, that's just what it is. And like I said, Lula went out of business because of all the claims that they were paying out on. Then right after Lula, then people were panicking. That's when I felt like that was the first wave of a bunch of people going out of business. Yeah. When it happened, because a lot of people didn't have insurance, didn't know what to do.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. because I'm curious to know. So this tent thing came out with Turo, right? This tent insurance. Lulu once goes away, tent pops up. Turo at the Power Host event told everybody about, hey, there's this company, tent, blah, 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 blah. And they're slowly rolling it out. And it's very similar to how Lula was. Lula, the big thing with Lula was any company now I know that their primary thing is just rental cars and they have no other business elsewhere. And it was like $100 for Lula, $125 for whatever car. And then you look at the policy. Yeah, they don't cover, I think it was over 50K or something.
Yeah, it wouldn't go past 50.
But they would let you. And that was the thing. They bridged the requirement gap to be compliant enough on paper, but knowing damn well, if you have a $75,000 car, or $100,000 car, or $125,000 car, you'll still give it to you. But I'm curious, do you think that Turo found a way to, what are they doing with Tint? I know that they're partnered with them, but do you think that it's going to be stronger than like Hire Cars, whoever was insuring Hire Car?
That's a possibility because you got to figure they still have to make sure they protect themselves. And obviously this tent company, they have to have whatever they brought up to Turo, it had to make so much sense for them to switch over to with them.
Yeah.
And again, and you're saying that Turo right now is tightened up even more.
Yeah.
So obviously that new company came in and probably told them, all right, this is how we're going to do things. This is the only way that we're going to work with you guys. You know what I mean? So that's going to be the only thing that I would say that would work out for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they changed 3 times. It was like Liberty, it was some other company, and now it's this tent company. But how Turo rolled it out was different than the way they rolled out these other companies. So I don't know if Turo has an interest in this company or it's a subsidiary or it's another company that 2 of the guys at the office started and they said, hey, we're going to do this. Because that's the only way I see them surviving.
Yeah.
To basically be self-insured.
And there you go. And that's what I tell people too. I'm like, you got to figure companies like Enterprise and stuff like that, they're self-insured. Now, they make money off of selling you insurance. Now, every time you buy insurance, it's not guaranteed that you're going to crash the car. So most of the time, that money goes into whatever they got it sitting at. And that's what's going to pay out the other accidents that happens with other vehicles. And again, in this rental car business, the only way you're going to survive, in my opinion, especially if you plan on growing big, you have to think and act like self-insured.
Yeah.
Your insurance company you're going to have because you legally have to have that.
Yeah.
But you will never touch that.
Yeah.
To do collision claims. That's just for the big stuff. Save that for the big rainy day. But like the little stuff, the total losses you're going to have to eat. The fender bender, absolutely eating that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just what I would say about that.
Yeah, we don't do claims either. Since the other person has, we had a couple people that got hit by somebody else's insurance, which is good because the insurance will cover it.
Yeah.
But yeah, doing the claims I haven't had in the claims that we did have were with Lulu at the end. We got messed up on that. Hire Car, we were at the tail end of doing. So if you do claims and you need to do claims, if you get caught in one of these claim bubbles, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
It's done. Lulu they were being weird at the end.
Yeah.
When people were doing claims, it was like taking 3 months.
Yes.
And then slowly, they know they're going bankrupt based off saying, hey, and it's just a financial term, an accounting term. This is how many claims we have. Maybe somebody died. Maybe a couple people died. Yeah. We're going to owe this. So we either could pay them out or we can go bankrupt because technically on paper, if we paid them out, we have too much liabilities versus our assets. We're bankrupt.
Yep.
And we're going to go, I think they still have a company that's like in Florida now.
It is only Florida. Yep. I actually heard about that. Lula going out of business, we saw it coming. On our end, we seen it coming because when they went out of business March. Was it in March?
I think so.
We started shopping for another insurance company in October.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I don't know if y'all remember. We used to call Lula a lot. So I think it was either in October or August. There was a whole month straight that you could not get in contact with them. I don't know if y'all remember that.
I do remember that. I feel like I talked to you around this time. We talked about the insurance because they were like just not talking to anybody.
You will call. As soon as it's about to transfer to somebody, it'll hang up. It did that for a whole month, maybe even 2. Around that time, that's when me and my brother and stuff, we talked about it. Listen, this ain't normal. Ain't no big company that's making this much money per customer, especially big accounts like us, don't want to talk to us. Something ain't right.
Yeah.
They're probably going down. So we need to start pivoting right now. That's when we started looking up for different insurance companies. So we were able to find, we moved on, got a new company and everything before Lula went downhill. Then when it went downhill, when they finally closed down, people were freaking out.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have no insurance. I'm like, y'all didn't see this coming? Bro, I know y'all couldn't get in contact with them months ago. So that's when y'all should have known something is coming.
Yeah.
But then again, we paid attention a lot.
That's
you know?
true.
Yeah.
I mean, Hire Car didn't. I think that's why Hire Car waited 3 days. They're like, just do it. That was weird because they had the whole claim.
Yeah.
Our claim was pretty much done. All the owner had to do is sign.
Damn.
And I think he would have got paid. And then Copart like, oh, didn't get paid. I'm like, bro, I told you 2 weeks ago that you need to do this. 2 weeks ago. So that's the difference, right? Like things change very quick in this space. So is there a number of cars that you're like, okay, once I get to I'm going to stop at this number. I know we talked about it earlier, but is there like an end goal or is this just, okay, I like cars? Now I noticed there's a lot of car guys in this space.
Yeah.
I've never really been a car guy. I've been like a real estate guy. So my goal is always make money with this, put it into this, make money to this, put it into this. And now the kind of, I have people that help run the business, so I don't have to do that. Right? So I could do other things. But so what is there like an end goal for you? Or
the end goal would be to invest in other stuff.
Okay.
Just have different streams of income as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously we all know this business is a very high risk business. Cash flow can be very crazy, but it's very high risk. Of course, high risk, high reward. So do I have a number that I'm gonna be like, if I get here, I'm gonna stop? I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. It's funny because I was sitting and having a conversation with my wife. I'm like, I'd like to see 1,000 cars.
Bro, that'd be crazy. I like that. I like that.
I like to sit and be like, you got 1,000 cars. You know what I mean? When? I have no idea. I'm sure it's possible.
Yeah.
Obviously, it probably would be multiple locations to add up to that. But yeah, so I guess that would be the goal right there, the end goal.
1,000
but
cars.
then again, you get to 1,000 cars, like, okay.
I need 5,000 little cars.
You know what I mean? But yeah, ultimately, it's just, I thought about it. I'm like, 1,000 cars that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Like, what kind of cash flow would that be? But I'm a numbers person, so I would quickly pick up my calculator and be like, wow.
That would be a lot.
It
would be a lot of money.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it could be, yeah.
Okay.
So
that's a good goal. 1,000 cars.
We're just gonna go. I pray on it and everything.
There we go. I know you. Listen, I feel like you've got the momentum of you getting cars. Literally compounds like crazy. Like it's just compounding so much because you've gotten a lot of cars just at the last. I know you said you had some before you came here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's wrap it up with let's do 2 wild predictions. And we talked about it. I guess that might be one that Turo goes under. That's pretty.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only other person that said that. I think the other, maybe Lucky Lopez said that.
Yeah.
Because they watch the market differently. But what would be 2 wild predictions that you see in like the rental car space, this peer-to-peer car sharing space in the next 5 years?
So in the next 5 years, what I would say there's going to be a lot more people that are going to get into business. A lot more. Obviously, they already are because the clientele is there. But one thing that I will say I am a bit, maybe a little worried about, maybe more than 5 years, but I'd say me and my brother had the discussion. I talked about it with my wife too. I always bring up my wife because she's the brains with a lot of stuff that, the back end stuff. She does a lot of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, we were talking about it and I'm like, actually my brother is the one that said it. He's with all these people that are doing rental cars because not everybody will do it the right way. And the right way meaning having the proper business licenses, having the proper insurances and all of that stuff. A lot of people will just do it to make a quick buck. But when will it actually, what if we get to a point that some politicians might get involved because something happened like that Turo freak accident that happened.
The 2 things.
You feel me?
Yeah, that was bad.
So what if things like that trigger some type of politician to just come out of nowhere and just be like, now we're going to come up with these new rules or laws for these car rental companies to just make things tighter. Now, it'll be harder for the smaller guys.
Yeah.
But the people that's got a lot of cars, it won't be too bad, but I'm sure we still going to feel it, but not as bad as the smaller guy. I hope that doesn't happen, But I think that could be something that could potentially happen. Because again, just look at the whole Airbnb thing, right?
Yep.
Next thing you know, they started coming up with all type of crazy rules, which kicked a lot of people off.
Yep.
Kept the ones that probably had a lot of volume. But yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay.
What would be the other prediction? I think that was the only one that I've been.
Let's do, okay, so the 5-year, and then think about like 10 years. I think the rental car industry is going to be, I want to hear what you think in 10 years though.
In 10 years?
Yeah.
I would say, like I said, I don't think the rental car business is going anywhere.
Okay.
If anything, just stricter rules.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's would be at worst.
Do you think that autonomous vehicles are going to disrupt the market in 10 years? Because that wouldn't be the best for us. We'd probably just figure it out. But if autonomous vehicles, because Tesla was working on a program that people could rent out their Teslas and do like rideshare autonomously from like on a break. Like say they're at their house, they work from home, the Tesla goes out, makes money, comes back. How do you compete with that? I mean, like for Uber and Lyft drivers, that's bad.
True.
I deal with a lot of Uber and Lyft drivers.
True.
I think that in the long run, traveling is going to be cheaper with autonomous vehicles because if they can replace every Uber driver, then you don't need to pay them. So now your overhead's going to be higher and you don't have to deal with, there's no labor loss for robot. So I think in the long run, if people are like comfortable today, I think more companies are going to try to say, how do we do this? Because this is going to be cheaper in the long run.
Yeah.
So I think actually less people, maybe 10 years, I think that's fair. I think less people own a car because it's, as we can see, with these tariffs and all this stuff that's going on, it's going to be more expensive to own a car, period. And a lot of people don't drive their car everywhere.
Yeah.
There's some people that just go work and home. They're already doing Uber.
Yeah.
So I think autonomous vehicles in that space and they're using for rideshare is going to make it cheaper to travel.
Sure.
Because there's no labor to pay for. And
so my thoughts on that is that's a valid point. It makes a lot of sense. But that's, again, you're talking about the Uber and Lyft drivers. Now, you also got to keep in mind, too, for that project or whatever, that program, you still have to qualify for it. I don't think they're just going to let anybody get those cars.
Yeah.
So that's where you and I and the people that are doing what we do will still be okay. So at least that's what I think. I don't see it disrupting anything that we're doing because, again, it's just like when Turo came into the picture and Enterprise and Hertz were still around and Turo got their share. Then HireCar came into the picture. They got their share. Enterprise, Turo, all these companies still around. Then we came into the picture while all of these companies are still around.
True.
But they all have qualifications for their customers. I feel like it will be the same thing. People will have to qualify for those things. Right. Then you're still going to have a big crowd that is not qualified, and they still will be getting the cars through people like us.
Boom. That's where you make the money.
Yeah.
That's where you make the real money.
So
that's good. That's good.
I don't think that's going to really impact like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I really don't think so. Because it's just like sometimes I get people that, like, okay, we had a couple of customers that returned their cars. One of them was with us for 2.5 years. I actually posted it in my story. The other guy, I actually need to call him up and do a video with him because he was with us for over 2 years as well. And he just returned. Man's got a house and everything. He actually has a car. But he says he's not going to use his personal car because he was one of the rideshare drivers, actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, I get people that be like, so people rent cars that long? It used to sound crazy to me too. Honestly, it really did. But the way I see it is, think about it. People that rent homes or apartments. You'll talk to somebody that's going to say, I've been renting for 20 years.
True.
It's the same thing if you think about it. The only difference is you're just renting a car. The car will not last the 20 years. But the people that are stuck in the cycle of renting, a lot of them will rent for the rest of their lives or for a very long. It's just part of their life.
I agree.
And it goes back to people that rent usually, they make enough money to cover their living, car, the house, food, the kids.
It's like a cycle, the rent cycle.
You feel me?
And over.
There you go. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
I think that's why we went to Uber and Lyft drivers. I'm like, the supply and the demand versus what they're going to need to do it. If not, they're not going to have a car.
Yeah.
If they don't have a car, they can't eat. So it ties it to something. I like that. All right, cool. Tell people where they can find you.
They can find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is MOE_the CEO.
You have to get active with this content.
I know.
There we go. Well, I appreciate you coming on. This is a good conversation because a lot of times I feel like when you're talking to someone that has 1 to 20 cars, it's way different, 50 cars. But at scale, I wanted to have this and show there is a difference of thinking when you're like at 200 cars versus
Absolutely.
like 25.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man. This was great. We've been talking about this for a while. And while I'm in Vegas, I'm like, yeah. You're
Let's
like,
get
let's
it.
do it. I'm like, let's do it.
Let's
Like,
get it.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you.
This guy is a beast in this space, and I learned a lot from him, actually. I've had him on our actual podcast, and I'm glad that he can come and give some game. We did a challenge or a webinar challenge recently, and man, he was giving a lot of game. So we're gonna go a little in depth on some of these questions. So that's the big thing, like the differences between starting with or without a job, or night and day difference. And so we'll get into it. So I'll let him introduce himself and kind of we'll get into the whole thing here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me again. All right, cool. So yeah, I go by the name CEO Mo. I'm based out of Detroit, Michigan, and I've been in the car rental industry since 2021. Again, guys, just like most of us, started with one car and then just built it from there. Right now, actually over 300 cars right now.
Sheesh.
Yeah. And it's all cash vehicles as well, which is what I'm really specialized in. I don't do none of that finance stuff. I just buy them cash and just move on with it.
Okay. So I only knew you since you had rental cars. So what were you doing before? Like, let's take it back before you got the rental cars, how were you doing things? And like, were you working a job? How was that going?
Absolutely, yeah. So I used to work at a Chrysler dealership. I was working at a Chrysler dealership for 8 years. I was a loop tech, which is the guys that do the oil changes, and then went from there, became a service technician. Then from a service technician, became a service advisor. That's really what I was doing. But in the process of doing all that, I've always flipped cars. Matter of fact, my background really is working on cars and flipping cars, and I've been doing that since '08. You know what I mean? So I worked at the dealership from 2013 all the way to 2021, which is when I actually quit. But yes, just working at a dealership, doing oil changes, and then I got introduced to the rental car business. From buying my first course, and I just kind of opened my eyes to renting cars. I used to flip them, still do, but never thought to rent them. So buying that course just kind of opened my eyes to a whole nother big business that I never thought about, and I just kind of took it to the next level based on my experience and all the background that I had.
Boom. Okay. And then so when you got in the rental car space, let's talk about it because we were talking about it a little bit. What was like the win that when you first got in, you're like, okay, it's go time?
So for me, I'm one of those people that I like to move really quick, right? I'm very impulsive, right? So when I bought the course, I kind of bust that course out like just a few hours. Same day, a few hours, boom, I went through the whole course. The very next day, I started looking for a car to buy. So I want to say on the third day is when I bought my first vehicle. When I bought the first vehicle, went through the process, getting it inspected, trackers, all that good stuff, insurance and all. Then listed it on Hire Car at the time when Hire Car was a whole thing. An hour later, once the vehicle got booked, that was my confirmation that we're onto something. And that's really all I needed to be like, this is gonna work. So like I said, after the vehicle got booked an hour later, after being on the actual website, I was just like, yeah, this is it. This is for me right here. So I just kind of, rinse and repeat, just kept on going.
Boom. So what was like the mindset of like when you first got, so if someone's watching this, they have a 9-to-5 job and they're like, I do want to do this other things, but I'm kind of scared to take that leap to get into whether it's a rental car space or just a different space, but they have the 9-to-5 job. They kind of have the curiosity to start, but they don't know how to get over that fear.
You gotta start with one. I feel like you don't need to just go all in, like go all crazy. Just start with one. So let's say if it's for example, if it's the car rental business, while you have a 9-to-5, save enough money to buy your first car cash or finance if you want to go whichever route you'd like to go to. But buy the first car, only one, try it out, see how you like it. Because at that point the risk is not that crazy versus a person that just goes buy 10 cars off rip while still being scared. You can't do that. I always tell people start with one to see if you even like the business, then just go from there. So,
that's key.
Yeah.
That's key. I jumped right in.
Yeah.
I jumped right in. We went to 1 to 14 cars in 90 days, and let me tell you, I should have took that route because it would have been a lot less stress, and that's key. So I know last time CMO was talking about, getting into the space and still working. Yeah. So you were working the job, yes. You got the cars, and then you started doing Uber. Like, what was the time frame from when you started? You quit the job or How'd that work?
Okay, so this is what happened. This was back in, I like to go with dates because I try to remember everything. So this is back at end of 2021. That's when I bought my first course, which was about mobile homes, right? Because at the time I was really just trying to get my hands on anything. I'm like, bro, I got to do something. I don't know what it is, but I got to do something. Even though cars is what I know, cars is what I do, I still was just open to everything. So my first course was buying a mobile home course. You know what I mean? I bought that course.
A mobile home? I didn't know
literally,
that. Okay.
Mobile homes, dog. I bought that course, went through it. I'm like, then I actually even was going to look at mobile homes, looking into buying them.
Oh, wow.
Literally, I did all that.
Okay.
I guess I never really told this story. But I'm looking into buying mobile homes. I remember one day, drove a few hours, went far out, checked out mobile homes. But eventually I got to realize this is not really my thing. Because while doing that, I still was working at the dealership. But at that point, I cut down my hours from working 6 days a week to working 3 days a week there. And the four days out of the week, I was able to just kind of figure out what it is that I wanted to do. Because like I said, I was so focused on trying to figure out what I'm going to do. But again, at the time, we're still pre-COVID. So I started doing Grubhub. So on the days that I'm working at the dealership or after I get off work, I'll turn on the app and just start working, doing Grubhub from like 6 to 10 or 11 p.m. Then go vice versa. That's what I was doing every single day.
Okay.
You know what I mean? While still trying to figure out what I'm going to do. But in the process, I'm still buying cars and flipping because like I said, that's just something that I've always done. So while doing that, fast forward, you know what I mean? I'm buying cars, flipping, and doing Grubhub. And then that's when I bought my first car while doing Grubhub. Matter of fact, I still got videos of me when I would go on live with Mitch.
Really?
While
Okay.
delivering food. Telling him, yeah, man, I'm about to deliver.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I still got all the recording, screen record, you know what I mean? So, again, I kept my job, at the dealership, doing Grubhub on the side, and buying cars, flipping, and still buying my rental cars. That's really how I started.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I kept a job. And I think it's very important to keep a job because a lot of people are so quick to say, I'm just going to quit. I don't think that's a good idea. I think you need to keep that job for as long as you can. For me, I kept working up until I had 60 cars. I didn't need to because 60 cars, that was doing well over $60K a month. I didn't really have to at all, but I did. And really what made me quit driving for Lyft at the time was because I didn't have the time anymore to pour into, to be able to drive and take care of my customers at the same time. So I really had to choose, and obviously the business made more sense. So that's when I quit. But before that, I was still driving for Lyft, and Lyft was paying for all of my bills.
That's good.
Even though I was doing well over $60K a month.
That's good.
Yeah.
So you basically phase out the job by cutting the hours first.
Yeah.
And then done away with the job completely. Mm-hmm. And then you got and started doing Lyft.
There we go.
And then you eventually had to focus on the business because you're the time, right?
Absolutely.
That's good. That's a good fit. How long did that take? Like, how long was that the time period of like when you first started, when you had the job to when you quit Lyft?
So I quit Lyft in 2023.
2023.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
2023. So that's when I quit Lyft. I want to say April of 2023. That's
okay.
When I completely stopped. But before that, I was doing it every day. My wife will tell y'all. She'll come home on the weekends, you know what I mean? Like, because at the time when we first got married, she was still living out of state. Uh-huh. So when she would come, we'll see each other on the weekends or whatnot, or whatever days. On the weekends, I'm gone. I'm out driving till 3 in the morning. Now, again, mind you guys, I'm doing $60K a month.
Wow.
Still out here driving till 2, 3 in the morning on weekends. You feel me? But again, for me, it was just to focus on, I don't want to touch my business money to take care of my personal bills. I want to focus on my business to grow that business, because the way I look at it is a business is like a baby. The moment you stop feeding it, you're killing that baby. You know what I'm saying? You're hurting it. So for me, it was like, all right, we just got to keep feeding it. Even though, like I said, the numbers that I was seeing, I really didn't have to drive anymore. But I was like, now let me just keep driving.
That's
good.
I mean?
But it also made sense too, because while driving, I'm drawing more customers to my business. So while driving, I'm making money on the front end, but I'm also making money on the back end, because when I'm giving people rides, I'm handing them business cards, telling them what I do.
I think I remember this.
You feel me?
I think I remember you telling me this.
Yeah, bro.
To
this day, I still have customers that are in my cars from when I was driving for Lyft.
And you just striking up a conversation.
You feel me?
And then they started. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to like get more exposure to your business.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a great networking tool. Doing Lyft and stuff like that. Absolutely. I mean, you're meeting all types of people. So all you gotta do is just talk to them.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's good. So now at scale, you have over 300 cars.
Yeah.
How do you like minimize liability? I've been thinking about this a lot since our last conversation. Like, how do you minimize liability with all these cars always out and different things like that?
So I went through different phases. At first, I was taking on any age. I mean, I'm talking about 19-year-olds. You feel what I'm saying? Then I went from the 19-year-old to, all right, cool, now we got to do only 21 and up. And even at 21 and up, we still were getting a lot of accidents. But now we are 23 and older. Even if you're 22 and 9 months, we're not giving you a car. So like I've seen a better clientele dealing with the people that are 23 and older, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, my clientele is not like I'm only focused on the rideshare guys. I'm focused on anybody. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? So like a lot of my customers are just the everyday people that just need a car to get back and forth. So I don't have tourists. I don't have none of that. I'm dealing with the locals every day. That's who I deal with. So for me, that's how I'm able to kind of really minimize the problems like accidents and stuff like that. Even though you can't really avoid those, it does happen. But for the most part, dealing with the locals and just, obviously you got to read your people too. Some people choose to do background checks. I don't, you know what I mean? We go based on vibes. You get on the phone, you say, hey, yo, let me get this car. No, you ain't getting a car.
That's
You know
good.
what I mean?
Wait a minute.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
good. Okay.
Hey, so yeah, for us, we just kind of go with our gut feeling. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We're going to submit this form. We're going to look at your driver's license, look at your picture, based on the way you talk and area that you live in and stuff like that. We kind of go off of that. You know what I mean? But
It's like a personal profile, basically.
boom, that's what we do.
Okay.
Some people, though, they like the background route. But for me, I feel like based on the clientele that you get with the business that we do, if you focus on that background check, you're going to kill a lot of, customers. Like a lot of people won't make the cut, even though in that mix, you could have a lot of good people.
Yeah.
You know.
So are you meeting most of these, or you're just some of your people on your team? Like, are they the people on your team? Are they trained to know, hey, this is the stuff that I look for. This is the stuff I look for.
Absolutely. In fact, man, now for the most, actually, I don't even look at who's getting the cars.
Okay.
My team just take care of everything. You know what I mean? So for me, my wife will tell you. In fact, some days people be like, "So what do you do?" No, I cannot tell you what is my job description. I just wake up, go to work. I'm doing a lot of stuff. You feel what I'm saying? But like the day-to-day stuff, if I happen to be in the area and something happens while I'm there, I'll jump on it and do what I need to do, help them out or whatnot. But for the most part, the whole, getting, figure out who we need to put in cars, is it a yes or a no? My team is already trying to do all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So I know that you do Ford Fusions?
Yes.
Okay.
Fusions, man.
So if I wanted to start today and I was like looking at Ford Fusions and I went on, what was the process that you would go through as far as just getting the car, a Ford Fusion?
Of course. So first thing first, I tell people, if you're getting started, try to stay in the range of the 2010 to 2012 Ford Fusion, all right? Those models, that's the second generation Ford Fusion, because the Fusions came out in 2006. So 2006 to 2009 is one model. Then 2010 to 12 is a different model. Then 2013 and up, that's when they got that bigger body, the longer one or whatnot. So I tell people to focus on the 2010 to 12 models, the one specifically with the 2.5 engine. The reason why I like that 2.5 is because that engine is pretty much bulletproof. And if worst case scenario, anything were to go wrong with that engine, that's a $250 engine. So either way, you're doing good. You know what I mean? So those are the cars that I say for people to get. So let's just go to a process of me buying a car. I go on Marketplace. That's where I love to go find my cars. I do a lot of auctions too, but I do a lot of Marketplace where I like to go physically see the car, bargain on the price and whatnot. So I find the car, I message the person, they tell me to come see the car. I get there, looking at the vehicle. While I'm there test driving the car, I'm of course checking everything, you know what I mean? Make sure the windows, the radio, AC, heat, everything is working. Look at my tires, try to look at my brakes, look underneath the vehicle for oil leaks. Try to just find any type of wetness, you feel what I'm saying? Pop the hood, check your oil, make sure the oil isn't mixed with the coolant so it'll give you that creamy look. Whenever you see that creamy look, that means it's a blown head gasket for the most part. So you want to make sure you see oil rather than cream, you feel me? So I'm looking at all of those things. Now, okay, everything is good. I'm about to pull the trigger on buying this car. Now that's when I do my negotiation. After test driving the car, I've already tried to pinpoint everything that I see that's wrong with the vehicle. But again, with my mechanics background, I'm able to kind of nitpick more things and use that to my advantage to drop the price. If you wanted $4,000 for the car, now I found that the car needs 4 tires. Now I found that it needs suspension. Now I know it needs brakes, but I already know the numbers on top of my head of how much it'll cost. So now I'm going to bring that to your attention and let you know this is what I got to spend to make this vehicle up to date. So because of that, this is how much I'm willing to pay. You can make it make sense. That's up to you. Most of the time, people will feel very intimidated to give you the price for the car. That
bring your mic a little bit closer, my bad.
Oh,
there we go.
cool.
You good?
So yeah, most of the time people feel very, very intimidated, and because of that, they'll give you the car for the price that you're looking to get it for, just because you broke down everything. Now they feel like they don't have a choice
Okay.
but to deal with you and just give it to you for that price. So that's how I do it. Next step, now we agreed on a price. Boom, they're about to give me the title. I take the title, go straight back to the car. There's 2 places you can check for the VIN number to match it, because that's very important too. Again, guys, we want to make sure we stick with clean title cars, not salvage title cars. We want clean titles, vehicles that have not been in accident, no accident history or whatnot, right? So you take the title, go back to the car, driver's side door, sometimes on the inside of the door or sometimes on the actual body of the car. But the driver's side, there's going to be a tag over there, and that's how you can find the VIN number. Match it with the VIN number that's on the title. If for whatever reason that car, the VIN number is not on the door, which sometimes it does happen, that's usually a vehicle that's been in an accident, but it's been repaired, but they didn't put the tag back on. That's okay. No need to panic. Go in front of the car on the driver's side of the vehicle, right by the windshield at the bottom. There's going to be another tag that shows you the VIN number. That's what you want to match with the actual VIN number that's on the title to make sure you're buying the right car, because it does happen.
People switch the VINs on the cars or the title?
The title. So, for example, somebody could just sell you a car that is a VIN number for, a title from a different car. So if you don't match it, you just bought a car. You just bought a piece of paper. Now you're gonna drive off with the car. Somebody gonna call the police. Say you sold their car.
That's good.
You feel me?
That's
so you want to
one.
make sure you match the VIN numbers. As long as VIN numbers checked out, like I said, you agree on the price, you pretty much get your money and just get your car and move on.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom. Okay. And then when we go to you're renting cars. So now I'm sure you have a big clientele that just kind of keep coming, right?
Yeah.
You built your pipeline. At first you were using platforms.
Yeah. Yeah. So at first I was using Hire Car, right? Then I was renting my cars over Hire Car and pulling them customers out of Hire Car. I also did Turo too in the beginning. But any customer that I dealt with, I eventually will pull you out. And what I was doing was at first it was I was scared to do the private thing. So it's kind of hey man, this is working for right now. But then eventually I'm hold on. Because I was making $250 a week off of my Honda Civic from Hire Car. That's after everything. That's $250 a week. So if I pull her out, because she told me how much she was making and how much she was paying them, it was $500. I'm dang.
Hire Car's tax.
I'm that's a whole nother half. I'm all right, cool. So I hit her up. I'm hey, listen, her name was Tangela. I'm hey, Tangela, check this out. What if you just deal with me directly, and then I'll just charge you $350 out the door. She was bet. But again, at the time, I had to try to understand how insurance works because she was an Uber driver. So I was using Allianz. You feel me?
Yep.
Yeah, man. I was using Allianz and just using that, but I was kind of losing out still. I was still coming out close to what I was making off a Hire Car, but at least I felt like I didn't have a middle guy. But again, it's just the beginning. You had to figure things out to make it make sense. But that's what I was doing in the beginning. I would just pull them out, get them the Allianz insurance, pay the daily thing, pay for 30 days. That's what I was doing. I remember it was $330, I think,
for the month.
Yes, for the month.
Yeah, the day. Yeah, bro.
Yeah. But again, like I said, I was just doing any and everything just to make it make sense. But also, everything was a learning process too. So while doing that, I'm understanding more on how I can do it better to be able to profit more. So,
yeah, that's good. That's a good setup. That's the play right there on how to actually get into the Fords and get into the car. He gave you the whole blueprint right there.
Pretty much how you can get started, really.
Okay. Now, so what do you think some of the biggest, when people are starting, what's one of the biggest mistakes you think people make besides financing? I know financing, we don't talk about that, but just picking the car, right? If we just stuck to cash cars and we stuck hey, I want to do this method. What is one of the biggest mistakes that people can make besides, I know you told them what to do, what not to do?
I think it's insurance. Insurance is one of the biggest things because most people will buy these cars and put them in their personal insurance and just start thugging them out and then try to add them as permissible drivers and stuff like that. I think that's the biggest mistake in my opinion because you're lying to your insurance company by just using personal insurance, but you're using the vehicle for commercial. That is something that you're not supposed to do. I get it. We do everyday stuff like that or whatever the case may be, but that's the biggest mistake, and that's how I feel like you can really get in trouble early on in the business, and it could actually turn you off. And again, in this business, it's very unpredictable. Things could happen every single day. You know what I mean? You're giving your cars to total strangers, so anything could happen. You know what I mean? I done bought cars that on my first week of buying it, after paying $5 or $6 grand on the vehicle, first renter crashes it, totals it. That's a loss. Straight up a loss. I've had a lot of those. You know what I mean? So imagine if that's you, but you have it on your personal side, and word some way got out, and your insurance got to realize you rented the car. Dude, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
So first mistake I think is getting personal insurance on these vehicles that we're using for business.
Okay. You want to break down what a permissible driver is? People still to this day use this, and this is not a play. This is going to get you in trouble.
You feel me? So ultimately what people are doing is, let's say I got a vehicle that I'm about to rent to him, right? Then he hits me up, say, hey, I'm about to pick up the vehicle. Cool. Now I call my insurance company and tell them that I'm going to add this guy as a permissible driver on my insurance policy. Do you hear how crazy that sounds?
It sounds crazy.
I'm about to take a total stranger, add them to my policy. And I've done it before, but it didn't really work. I was trying it too. I called the insurance company, and that's when I've realized how many questions they asked you. They asked me, does this person live with you?
Yep.
I was caught off guard, I ain't gonna lie. So I was like, oh, yeah, that's my sister-in-law. Bro, I'm lying like crazy. So I'm telling them this is my
On a
sister-in-law
recorded
that
lie,
lives with
too.
me. You feel me? So after they told me how much it was gonna be, which it wasn't that much difference, but I was so uncomfortable, I told them, you know what, I'll call you guys back when I figured out what else do I need. But yeah, they needed a bunch of information that I wasn't ready for. So that's really what permissible insurance is. You're adding a total stranger to your policy, and you're saying that this person lives with you.
Yeah.
That's how the only way they're gonna get coverage. That's crazy. You know what I mean? So no, absolutely. I think that's a big mistake. I think people should just get commercial insurance right off rip, call it a day. Because if you get that, it's for the rental car business. They know what you're doing. You ain't got nothing to hide or be worried if anything happens. So yeah.
That's key. Yeah, you guys don't want to be talking to the insurance company saying that stuff. But the key thing is you recognized it. When you felt that, see, a lot of times people are doing business and they feel that weird feeling, like almost like you're getting all warm, like someone's calling you out. And some people still do it for the little bit of money. But in the long term, if you're doing that in insurance and you're giving different addresses, it's not good. You're basically doing insurance fraud at that point. So that's key. That's key, the commercial insurance. So last time I had you on the actual podcast, we talked about one thing which I thought was really interesting, because most people want to make claims on their own insurance for whatever reason, because they're like, don't worry, I'll do the claim on my insurance. And I'm like, that's never smart. You want to break down why, like, break it down, your thesis.
So the reason why I'm really not for making claims, again, you know, some people still do, but this is what works for me. I don't make any claims because every time you make a claim, it's counting against you no matter what. Whether you got 3,000, however the amount is, every time you make a claim, it goes on something called a loss run report. And your loss run report is pretty much your report card for the insurance companies. And it is not just for your insurance company. When it's time to switch over into a new insurance company, they're going to ask for that report. And that's how they can determine whether you are liability or high risk or just somebody that they can actually take in. So just that right there, that piece of information, knowing that is going to really make you really rethink this whole insurance thing. And another thing that people don't know is when you have insurance, right? Every year, at the end of the year, when it's time for them to renew your thing, they're doing an evaluation of your report to see, all right, cool. Did we pay out more on this person or did we actually make money? So did we lose? Did we get close? If they're close to losing, you're getting dropped. If they definitely lost, you're definitely getting dropped. You know what I mean? So I always want to keep my loss run report very clean. And pretty much I let my insurance handle things that I don't have control over. So like the liability aspect of it. But as far as it comes to collision, I eat all of it. And that's what works for me, and that's just how I've been doing it. And I feel like that's how I'm able to stay in business for so long, based on the way I do business.
Okay, so if somebody started like at scale, okay, because you're making more money, I think like, okay, if I just started and maybe I have one car, and I bought it cash, they can go get like some sort of business insurance or commercial insurance, right? How would they like operate, right? What would you recommend if I have one car and I'm like, you know, I'm a little bit nervous about renting private rental. I want to do it because I'll make more money. But like, what do I do to prepare when someone messes my car up?
Yeah, so you can go different ways with that. First, you can actually rent to people that only have insurance. There are those people out there. So if they have insurance, when an accident happens, you make a claim through their insurance. That's how you can be protected if you are that nervous person that you're scared. So let's say you are the person that's like, well, I still want to just be open to the public. That's when you need to have a very good rental car agreement that's going to explain the do's and the don'ts and what happens in an event of an accident. So like for me, I have $1,000 deductible. It's non-negotiable. There's $1,000 no matter what you do to the vehicle. You come back with a dented fender, you owe me $1,000. You come back with a mirror falling off, you owe us $1,000. So there's just something, you just need to have something in your agreement that's going to say that, where everybody have an understanding on what would happen when things go wrong. So for the new person, that's what I would suggest. Make sure you have some type of deductible. That way, if anything happens, at least you can go try to get something from them. And of course, always take a deposit. Let's not do that. Oh no, 0 deposits. That's crazy. Don't do that. So
How much do you do deposits for, like on like a cash car?
my deposits are $300.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But like, let's say in an event where I have a customer, it's a decent customer. We might have gone to some repos. This is kind of a bit of a story at the same time.
Let's
but
hear it.
we might have gone to some repos with this person, but I know they'll be back. You know, because they were decent, but things hit the fan at some point. They didn't want to return the vehicle we reported. If you come back next time and you need us, your deposit is double now.
Okay.
Take it or leave it.
Okay.
You hear, oh man, I need a car. No problem. $600 for you. Why? You're a high risk customer. You got to remember, we don't need you. You need us more than we do. So in order
Right.
to do this, we got to make sure it only works for us.
Right.
We're going to be less risk than you. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, yeah.
That's what I want to know. So like when you do private rentals and do you do daily pays or is it weekly or how's that?
So for me, only weekly. I don't do daily rentals. Oh my God, that would be such a headache. That would be too much of a headache. 'Cause,
Yeah.
You know, especially with as many cars that I have, I know for a fact we'll forget to send somebody an invoice somewhere. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, I've been thinking about this. I'm like,
Too much.
how are you doing that? Like, how would you even do that? Because I think we talked about last time about some of the cars that got missing and different things like that. I'm like, okay, hot scale at 300 cars. So you don't do dailies, you do the weeklies.
Yep.
Okay. How do you handle, like, do you like have accounting software? Do you use like accountant?
Yeah.
Or how do you do that every week?
So I use a software called Connect Pro. That's what my wife she built it off of my business.
Okay.
And then that's the software that we use that pretty much automates everything. So let's say if you give us a call, the second you give us a call and we add you into our pipeline or whatnot, now your number and everything is in our system. So everything is going to be automated from there. So
Okay.
let's say if you picked up the car on a Monday, next Monday morning, you're going to receive a text that's going to ask you if you're renewing or extending. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And we don't have to physically go do it. So everything is just in that same pipeline, and that's how we're able to keep track of that. Now, if we were to do daily rentals, we can use the same thing, but I just feel like it's too much.
You'd have to send like automated text
You
message
feel me?
every single day
Yeah,
with like the
it's-
invoice attached.
There we go, with the invoice
Okay.
attached. So
Okay.
they get an invoice and all that stuff, you know what I mean, at the same time. But yeah, that's how we just run it, and with that system, it makes things a lot easier.
How long? I think we talked about this at a couple of times. How long have you been doing like a system that's been more automated?
Oh my God, 2 years? Wait, 2.5, almost 3 years now.
Okay.
Almost 3 years. Before that, oh my God, it was ghetto as hell. So I had, which I've talked to a lot of people, they still doing this, which is hilarious because I used to save all my customers' numbers on my phone. So like if you check on my phone right now, if you go on the contacts and you type Fusion, oh dude, it's gonna be James Blue Fusion, Mike Black Fusion. Bro, they still on my phone. You feel what I'm saying? And that's how I used to do it. So what I was doing was every night, so let's say the people that I do tomorrow on Tuesday, Monday night around 10 p.m. or whatnot, my wife will tell y'all, I'd be in bed and I'm just like, oh my God, I need to get my invoices ready. So I make all my invoices manually, schedule text messages for every day at 9 a.m.
Oh wow.
That's what I was doing for the people that I do on the next day. That's exactly what I was doing. I did that for a while. While she was watching me doing it, she was like,
What did you
okay,
have, like 100 cars then?
man, what? No. At the time, no. Before we started using the system, I think maybe 50,
Okay.
50, 60.
But even at scale, that's a
Yeah.
lot of text messages.
Hell yeah, it is, man. What? And that's how you gonna miss customers. And in this business, if you miss a customer, you send them an invoice, they will not pay. They gonna act like, oh well, I didn't know. Yeah,
They're gonna be like,
Man,
this
what?
is my lucky day.
You feel me?
My
So-
prayers has been answered.
I swear. So yeah, now you gotta be on it too. You gotta be on it. You don't send an invoice, some will not pay. Most actually will not pay. Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to pay. Oh, I forgot. It's crazy.
It's Friday. It's time to pay. I didn't remember.
Yeah.
I didn't get the invoice. That's good.
Or some will say, you didn't send me an invoice.
So it's your fault.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you dealt with like chargebacks and stuff like that
So
early on? Because some people don't know. Some people are using whatever systems and like PayPal or Stripe. You get charged back after somebody's been renting your car for 2 months.
yeah. So I did deal with chargebacks in the beginning when I was using this app called Invoices.
That's a little orange app.
Yes.
I was using that. Maybe you
Man.
told me. I'm like, who told me about this
think it
app?
was me.
It was hooked to PayPal.
Yep,
Yeah.
there you go. So that's when I really got introduced to chargeback. So again, everything for me is like a learning thing. So everything that I talk about, I literally been through it. You feel me? So for me, what happened was customer comes and rents a car, and every week I would send them the invoices, whatnot. And they were able to just use a debit card to make the payment or credit card, whatever the case may be. It never raised any red flags to me because he worked at the time until one guy rented with us for about a little over 2 months, brought the car back. As soon as he brought the car back, 2 weeks later, he does a chargeback on everything, right? So we found out exactly what he did. So my man, when it was time to make his payment, so let's say his name is Mike. When Mike is making his payment, he's using Joseph's credit card.
Yep.
So now Joseph is the one that's paying for this rental. Now, when Joseph does a chargeback at the end of it all, and I try to submit a dispute, try to fight it back, I have to obviously provide the rental agreement and license. Now, but I'm sending Mike's information, not Joseph. So Joseph could be like, bro, I'm nowhere near this thing. What are you guys talking about? I never did this. That's how Joseph's gonna win, and you just lost that one.
That's lit.
You know what I'm saying? So I figured that out. I was like, whoo, no more of this. So I completely cut that out, and I went straight Cash App and Zelle. Zelle, you can't do a chargeback.
Yep.
Cash App, not really. You know what I mean? Not really. Let's just leave it at that. So I just focused on that. So my payment methods was Cash App, Zelle, and Cash. That's it. And I was doing Apple Pay too. And Apple Pay eventually kicks you off when you make over 100 grand in 1 year on that platform. So blocked my account.
Yo, I told you about that story, Apple Pay, when I was using one iPhone and I was getting money and I was like, oh, they sent the money to my other iPhone, I guess. So I was like, okay, I'll make an account there. And what happened is it didn't happen right away, actually. So I had 2 accounts. Then one day after a renter paid me, locked my account. And Apple didn't even tell me they just sent the money back. Like other banks, other places just lock your account. They sent them the money that they just sent me. So now I have a renter with the car. They just got the money back. And I have to say, hey, this is a funny story, but I need you to send me the money again. And they were just like, yeah, no comment. So I had to repo that car. So that's good. The Cash App, we use Cash App, Zelle. Apple Pay is finicking. Cash App, they don't do chargebacks, but they can dispute it. And they'll mess your Cash App up. I had a Cash App for like 4 years. And one day I went to try to send money and it was sending a message every time I try to send money or someone send money to me, and they would say, this is a suspected fraud payment, or this is some sort of message, so it would reverse it. Oh, this is to protect you. And every time it would send the renter the money back.
That's crazy.
So yeah, Cash App can if you have enough disputes.
Yep, there we go. So yeah,
that's good.
For me, I don't do no credit cards and not like that.
Okay.
I just don't want to give everybody the chance to do so.
How do you find, I mean, I know you have like a background in understanding like maintenance and stuff.
Yeah.
So how do you find, not as far as the parts, because I know we talked about that before, but as far as like, I feel like a team is important. So like, if I just start and I get the car, which most people do, they just get the car. What am I looking at for, like, if I'm going to go to a maintenance shop, or is there anything specific you're doing when you're looking for like a mechanic?
Yeah, so mechanics, it's always good to have multiple mechanic shops that you deal with, not just one. Because you're going to have these guys that are just really good at replacing parts, right? These guys, they're just the R&R. Boom. The car will come in its brakes, they're going to knock it out quick. Then you need to have your mechanic shop that is really good with engines and electrical and stuff like that. So for me, pretty much have all of those. I have the guys that, like I said, it's just mechanical work, like just the basic stuff. Those are the quick, hey man, I got a customer that's coming on your way. They're on their way to you right now. They need to do brakes. Can you take care of it right away? They'll take that car right away. Just like I have this guy that he does my engines and transmission. This dude, all he does for me, engines and transmissions. His prices are really good, but I give him so much work that what I pay for these engines is like pennies on a dollar. You know what I mean? So you just need to have all of those. You can't just have one, because a lot of people will just be like, oh, I'm just going to have one mechanic shop. No. Absolutely have more than one, because they all good at different things as well. But you make sure you diversify, just having different ones that are really good at what they do in a certain aspect of the business. Because like I said, you can't just go to the guy that does everything. He's going to get backed up, and he's not going to prioritize your work.
You're right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
But if I have multiple guys, this is just the brake and suspension guy, I know every time I send him, my car's going to be in and out, versus him just doing everything.
Yeah.
And then I'd be overwhelming him with work.
Right.
So always have more than one.
That's good. That's a good tip. I actually had a mechanic that was good at fixing everything, but this one thing he just was not good at. It was the turbo.
There you go.
He fixed the turbo and it did not get fixed. Let's put it that way. So we had to go to a different shop that magically fixed it. And he kept saying, this is my guy for a long time. So I'm like, what do I do? Not go to him, but he won't do turbos anymore. That I guess, scarred him.
Yeah.
So in a situation you have to go repo a car. Somebody asked, how do you get your extra key back?
I mean, a lot of times you do get it back. Now, I will say there are some situations you don't get it back, but a lot of times you do, because most of the time when you're repoing a car, you obviously want to make sure you do it either late at night or early in the morning when nobody's there, so you don't have to deal with anybody. You grab the car and be gone. Most of the time, there's gonna be stuff in there. You know what I mean? So what I do is we're very strict with this. Any car that gets repoed, when the customer wants to get their stuff back, always meet them at the police station. I don't care how cool they are. I don't care who you are. We're meeting at the police station. Man, we ain't gotta do that. Yeah, we do. Let's meet up there. You know what I mean? That's just gonna minimize if they were to do anything or even had any kind of.
Are you guys like meeting them in the police parking lot?
Yeah, police parking lot.
Okay,
Yep,
okay.
Just in the police parking lot, kind of make sure you get close to the front door type deal.
Yep.
You know, meet up with them there.
That's
Everybody
good.
show up. And of course, before they get anything out, they need to hand you that key first. They have to hand you that key first. Now, sometimes you'll have situations where the customer might have emptied the car because they kind of expected it anyways. That's the person that you might have a hard time getting your key back, because some will just be like, oh, I'm gonna hold on to this key, try to screw them over. First of all, you're losing your deposit, and the key doesn't cost as much. But again, it depends what kind of car you have.
Yeah.
But that'll be the same person that you'll call and be like, hey, listen, bro, this is what we can do. You give us the keys, we'll give you $50 or $100, whatever number you're comfortable giving up. But that's how you can do to get your keys, and most of the time it works for us.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. Before we let you wrap it up, let's do this. Run through like your process. I know your process has changed over time, but like, what's the process when you like have to go repo the car? Like, what's that process look like? Like, let's just say, again, I'm at like 1 or 2 cars and I have an extra key, which you guys need to have an extra key, I think. When you have an extra key and someone keeps your car, now let's assume they have a kill switch for this scenario. How do people need to handle it? Because I know at scale, like we use people that have tow trucks in some of the cities that we're in, and then some of the cities we don't. So it's a different process. What do you guys do?
So for me, I do both. Sometimes I use tow trucks, but most of the time we go pick it up. And the process, this is how it goes. You got 24 hours to make a payment. If your payment is late 24 hours later, especially when there's no communication, we're picking up the car first thing in the morning. You know what I mean? We're picking up the car. And what we're doing is, like I said, obviously the vehicle has been disabled. You know what I mean? So it might have been sitting for a few hours or whatever the case may be. Then once you pull up to where the vehicle supposedly is, first you want to do a quick drive-by. You want to pull up first to see the scene. You want to make sure the vehicle is parked somewhere that you can get to, because sometimes people will try to do some stuff where they'll park the cars in between cars to get it blacked in because they know what's coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you don't want to just pull up, enable the kill switch, and the car is unable. Now you can't get to it because, as we all know, these kill switches, it's not like you click and it just works. You have to do that and wait for it to eventually get connection. Sometimes it works fast. Sometimes it could take a while. You feel what I'm saying? But ultimately, you want to see the vehicle first, make sure you can actually get it out. And then that's your first drive-by. As soon as you've seen it, as you're driving past the vehicle, that's when you want to obviously work on enabling it. By the time you turn back around, the vehicle should be enabled. So you just pretty much pull up. Obviously, there's going to be 2 of you guys or 3, however you want. Pull up. Somebody gets in the car, starts the car up, and just go. That's it. There's no talking. There's no, let me go knock on the door. Maybe they'll give me the key. Don't do that. Never do something like that unless it's somebody that you might be comfortable with. Even that I still don't recommend, because people do switch. You just never know. The best bet is get your car, be gone. I'll meet up with you at the police station. We ain't got to worry about nobody trying to do anything crazy.
Boom.
So, yeah.
Boom. Okay, we got 2 more questions. I have a question for me. So how are you dealing with renters? Like, do you have an idea of like when renters are going to stop paying you? Like, do they start slowing up, stop being communicative? Like, because we have that problem a lot where we have renters that are like, we can sense it when they start to fall behind on a payment once. Yeah. So we made a way that we have 1, 2, 3 like different rules. If they hit this, they get out of this. You know what I mean? So what do you think about, like, how do you guys handle that when renters slow down?
So for us, it depends. If you've been with us for a very long time, because a lot of times it starts with excuses. They're gonna start giving you excuses. My paycheck is delayed. I didn't get my pay yesterday, which is crazy because I'm like, I've had a job before. My paycheck never missed. So is this something new? I'll be wondering. I'm like, is this something new? Because I hear that a lot.
Me too.
Paycheck, my boss didn't give me my paycheck. So you mean to tell me you worked all weekend? That's crazy. All right, cool.
It's late.
You feel me? And a lot of those people, though, the second you disable the vehicle, somewhere, somehow, they find the money. So that just goes to tell you they already had the money. Now this is usually what I think and what I really believe happens. They'll have the money, they have the opportunity to pay for it, but now they're like, all right, cool. Let me see if I can get away with this so I can take this money and put it elsewhere. But they do have the money.
Right.
Now, if you decide to be weak and give them a choice or feel bad, that's when they're going to get over you. So for us, most of the time, the way we deal with stuff like that is the second we start getting excuses, we will get on the phone with them and let them know, like, hey, listen, this is such and such. This is where you kind of get a little personal with them. Hey, listen, let's put business aside. I've known you for quite some time. You've been dealing with us for a long ass time, but I just need you to understand one thing. This is one thing that I'm going to do for you because of who you are, but it's a one-time thing.
Yeah.
So this week, rather than you paying Monday, let's say we're letting you go until Wednesday with no late fees that will, you got to let them know this is what you're doing for them. That way, if next time they're about to do that and you actually take the harsh action, which is I'm taking my car, you can't be mad at me. Last week, I told you this and I gave you $100 off, which was supposed to be the late fee. I completely dismissed that and I completely not taking my car from you. I did all of these things for you. They just need to understand what you're doing for them. And once they do understand that, then when it's time to take the legal action or whatever you need to do to get your vehicle, then you don't have to worry about them feeling some type of way or things just going out of hand. But even if it does, it don't matter. I already told you.
Yeah.
We both understood. We know. And it's on a recording.
Some boundaries, some healthy boundaries.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. And then just one last question. So I know we went over this, so you'll get this in the replay but they talked about, do you hold your own insurance on the car or just use the client's?
For me, since I have commercial insurance, that's just what I do. I never use client insurance. Most of my customers don't even have insurance. So, yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, so for me, that's how I do it.
Boom. Easy. Okay, cool. You want to let them know where they could find you on social? And
yeah, so my Instagram is Cash Car Rental King.